Hello everyone, today I'm here to talk all about Buffy Season 1. Today, like I said, we're talking all about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1. So, if you didn't know, I am running this event, this 7-month-long event called Slayalong. Pretty much what that is, it is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer watch-along, whether you're watching Buffy for the 100th time, much like myself, or you're watching it for the first time. Please join us in watching it. We're watching a season a month. This is coming out in April, so we are on the second season, so you can guess what happens. We have a live show at the end of every month on various channels. I have a whole bunch of amazing co-hosts who I will link down below, including Melanie, who got me this amazing Sunnydale shirt. I love her so much, and forever I'm grateful for her. Like, I don't deserve this, but I'm obsessed with the shirt. I love you, Melanie. What I decided to do is that since we're watching a season a month, I thought, hey, I will do a monthly video talking about that season we just watched. So obviously we're in April, so season 1 we've already watched, so that's what this whole video is going to be about, is season 1. And what these videos are gonna be about are talking about the season in general, what I thought of it as a whole, some of my favorite episodes and some of my least favorite episodes, and just things like that. I will not spoil anything for the further seasons down the road. This is gonna be strictly about the season I'm talking about today, and as we progress further along in this video series, we'll talk about previous seasons. Does that make any sense? Either way, check out the Slayalong Twitter page and everything like that, and we have live shows and all that kind of stuff. It's very fun. I love it. I love Buffy. If you guys don't know, Buffy's one of my favorite shows of all time. My first ever fandom love was Buffy before Harry Potter. So, long-winded intro. If you're unfamiliar with Buffy and you're like, should I watch this or should I not? Let me break it down for you. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a show that aired on the WB from 1997 to 2001, I believe, and the last 2 seasons were on UPN, so it ended, so basically the run of Buffy was 1997 through 2003 was its last season, so we have 7 seasons, based on the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer that aired in 1992. And pretty much what Buffy is all about is the character Buffy. Every generation there is a chosen one, the Slayer, the Vampire Slayer. This generation, it is Buffy. It's her job to protect the innocent people, the humans, against any sort of demons or vampires and things like that. At the end of Buffy the movie, I hope I will not be spoiling it for you, she lives in LA, she burns her gym down because of vampires, her watcher dies, so she decides to relocate to Sunnydale, California. Sunnydale. And she has a new watcher named Giles, and she learns that Sunnydale is literally on top of a hell mouth, which is what opens up and it's hell down below, so no big deal. So basically, this whole show follows Buffy as she is the vampire slayer and how she's dealing with that and things like that. So if you're into paranormal things like vampires, demon, witches, werewolves, all of that kind of stuff, this is a perfect show for you, and I would highly recommend it. Obviously, it's one of my favorite shows. So that is the whole rundown on Buffy, what it is all about. So in case that sounds intriguing to you, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is on Hulu. Also the box sets are probably super cheap on Amazon. Hope I did you good. So now let's get into talking about season 1. So season 1 aired in 1997 on the WB, one of my all-time favorite networks. So sad it's gone. And it was a mid-season replacement, which if you didn't know, mid-season replacements usually don't do well in the TV thing. Mid-season replacements usually start in March, and it's because a show that the network really pumped up and tried to really get for prime time didn't really work out. So here comes in the mid-season replacements, like let's just fill the gap from March to June, and maybe people like this, maybe they'll not. We don't know. So Buffy was like a big question mark on WB, and I'm glad to say it did really well. Yay. And it only had 12 episodes because it is a mid-season replacement. So in case you're wondering, do I really want to get into this show? It's gonna have a lot of episodes. The first season only has 12, so you can really try to test the waters and see if you enjoy it or not. So season 1's not one of my favorite seasons. I think any Buffy fan will probably say that. It's not my least favorite season, that's for sure. Look at it, season 4, but it's not one of my favorites. And that's honestly with a lot of my favorite shows. Season 1 is never my favorite first season. That is because season 1, pretty much you have to build the foundation of the show. You have to explain to viewers what this whole show is about. You have to introduce these characters. You have to lay the groundwork before you can really get into super heavy plot, you know, take different chances, things like that. You have to build your foundation of your house before you can build the house itself. Does that make sense? Probably not. This is going to be a long-winded video. I hope that's okay. But Buffy, you know, the season 1 is very much laying the groundwork for future seasons. And not only that, the special effects aren't that great. It's 1997, guys. What do you expect? The vampires don't look the best. The demons aren't the best. Some of the episodes just aren't great. I mean, that's with every season of any show, honestly. But season 1, you know, it's got its ups and downs. There are some amazing ups, but there are some downs that are not the best. What season 1 does well is characters. You fall in love with all of these characters. Buffy is an amazing character. She's a 16-year-old girl and she's a slayer. You know, her whole life is destined, and she's only 16. You know, she's destined to fight all vampires for the rest of her life, and she's still so young that she has to, you know, juggle being a daughter and being a student and things like that while also battling literal evil. At the core of it, the show is about growing up, but it uses literal demons to show the demons, you know, in growing up. I'm just rambling at this point. But characters do well. I love Buffy. I think Buffy made a great character arc in season 1. Buffy is just a great character. Honestly, she probably is my favorite character, which I don't say that a lot about shows, is the main character is my favorite, but I love Buffy. You also get introduced to Willow and Xander, who are her new friends, and they both bring so much to the table. Willow is such a very shy, quiet character, but trust you me, this is not spoiling, you see her blossom and become this amazing, powerful woman right in front of your own eyes. And Xander is the lovable heart of the group. Xander continues to be that until the show ends, and he is just there for everybody. He's loyal. He has a lot of downfalls, as all of our characters do, but Xander is just amazing. Giles is the Watcher. He's a British guy, in case you're into British things. So he is great. He does oh dear and all that stuff. We also have a character named Cordelia, who is a very popular girl. Think of Regina George. She pretty much, I think, was made to represent the life Buffy would have had if she was not a Slayer. Cordelia is Buffy if Buffy wasn't a Slayer. Let's just say that. We also have Angel, the vampire, who is a friendly vampire, and romance may happen between Buffy and Angel. That's right, Edward and Bella. Buffy and Angel were there first. We also have a whole overarching plot. So every season of Buffy has a villain of the season. I think most paranormal shows or spooky shows like that have that. You know, with any show, I think there's an overarching plot. The overarching plot in season 1 is a character called the Master, and he is a really old vampire. He's stuck underground, and his whole, you know, mission for the whole season is to open up the Hellmouth so he can be released and release all the evil and demons and things like that. So obviously Buffy and them have to team up to take him down. That's our big bad of the season. That's what I call them, big bads. And with that, you know, every episode we talk about it, but we also have these formula monster of the week plots, which a lot of paranormal shows also have. We have, you know, a typical episode such as episode 3, we have an evil witch brewing and we don't know what's happening. That's our monster of the week. Episode 4, we have this praying mantis that's evil and eating boys and they're disappearing. That's our monster of the week. We have a lot of those in all seasons of Buffy, but the overarching plot is the big bad of the season, if you're catching drift. So that's what the whole first season is about. Because it's only 12 episodes, so I wish it was longer, honestly, because I felt like if it was a fully fleshed out season of 22 episodes, it would have had a lot more depth, a lot more we would have gotten a lot more plot and a lot less monster of the week kind of lame episodes, dare I say. But overall, season 1, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 as far as rating goes for the whole season entirely. My favorite episodes, I have 3 of those in season 1. The first episode, the pilot episode, Welcome to the Hellmouth, I think is a great introduction to a whole series about Buffy relocating to Sunnydale, and she thought she could escape the Slayer prophecy, but she can't because her new Watcher is there. She learns that there's a Hellmouth underneath her. We also introduced to all of our characters. I think it's a great first episode of a show of all time. I love it. Also, episode 7, Angel. We get to learn more about Angel in this episode and how he's a vampire and how he's a good vampire. There's a lot of ships in this show, with any show. One thing you need to know about me, I'm a Buffy and Angel shipper, hard time, like hardcore. Love them, always will love them. They're my favorite. So yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes because any chance of Angel, like, yes, please. And my last favorite episode is the last episode of the season called Prophecy Girl. That episode, I would say, is probably the best of the whole season. You get to see a really big dynamic with Buffy on how she accepts her fate and how things happen. And it just really, I thought that episode showed what Buffy can be. It was a great season finale, one of my favorites. That's another thing. With Buffy, this is not spoiling anything, there are 7 seasons, and I would say there has only been 1 season finale that I have not loved. Like, all of Buffy's season finales are amazing, and I think that is because the creator, Joss Whedon, which I know you're like, Joss Whedon, the guy behind Avengers? Yes, that Joss Whedon. He was with Buffy first. He, I think, was feared a lot that Buffy was going to get canceled on any second, so he made the season finales like pack a punch. And also, all season finales kind of could be the end of the show. Like, he kind of made it all encompassing. Like, in case the show does get canceled, we told a full story, but we still have more to go on, if that makes any sense. So Prophecy Girl was just that. Like, it could make a great season finale, and it could make a good show finale, as with all of their seasons. So, see, Prophecy Girl, I think, is really, if you've been iffy about Buffy and you've watched season 1, you're like, I'm not so sure. Prophecy Girl really shows what Buffy can be and what it does. So I love Prophecy Girl, you know, with the whole thing. I don't know if I want to spoil this whole thing. I don't know. Season 1, I feel like I can't because it's only season 1. My whole goal for this video is just to sell you on watching Buffy. That's my goal, at least for season 1, because there's not too much to talk about when it comes to season 1 because there's only 12 episodes and I can't really get into what I want to because we have so many future seasons. Like, season 1 of Buffy, you know, as I keep saying, it lays the foundation of the show, of what it can be. Now, again, if you've watched season 1, you're like, this is lame, I'm not loving it. I understand season 1, you know, has its downfalls, things like that. Season 2 is where Buffy really hits its stride and it really gets good. Season 2 is not one of my favorite seasons either, but I'm halfway through it right now, rewatching it, and I'm loving it. It's just a good show. So I'd say, if you are a person that loves Twilight, yes, I'll say that. If you're a person that loves Vampire Diaries, I'll say that too. Or Supernatural, the show, I think you would love Buffy. It's got that WBS thing to it, which I love WB shows, oh my gosh. But Buffy is just an amazing show. It's iconic. Everyone knows Buffy. And it's just, it's so, so, so good. I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched it, please do. Join along and slay along. It's happening from now until the end of September. So you've got time, my friend. If you want to join in on watching season 2 with us, you're like, I'm so behind. You can watch season 1 in a week, like probably in a few days, if I'm honest with you, if you're like super dedicated. But overall, season 1, 3.5 rating. I thought it was a good first season. I didn't like love it, but season 2, like I said, is where it hits its stride, and I can't wait to talk about season 2 because we get a whole influx of new characters, some of my favorite characters of all time. We get to really get into the romance. We get to get into a big evil overarching. We get to get into an epic, epic season finale. Oh my gosh, season 2, season finale is just gold. But overall, I hope you watch Buffy. If you don't watch Buffy, please do. It's a good show. It's a classic kind of paranormal vampire show, in my opinion. And it's all about a woman kicking butt. Who doesn't want to see that? We have a blonde that is a 16-year-old girl, and she is like the strongest person there ever is. She kills vampires and demons on the daily. She is a very strong character in strength and in just being vulnerable. That's a strength too. And being a good friend and being a good girlfriend and being a good daughter. She's very strong in all aspects of her life, but you get to see her struggle. You get to see her go through adolescence with this whole, you know, destiny looming over her. It's a great high school show as well. I love a good high school show, and it's just an awesome show. I need to stop this because I could talk about this for hours. Talk all about Buffy season 1. I would love to hear what you think about it. If I have convinced you to watch Buffy or not, please let me know as well. Get through season 1. I just say that. Get through season 1. Season 1's a little bit rocky. It's a little bit corny. It's a little bit not the best CGI and things like that. It'll come. It'll come, my friend. Buffy gets better with every single season. Believe you me. There are some seasons that are not the best in Buffy, but there are some seasons that are absolute gold that I'm looking, like, if you want to know my favorite seasons, season 3 and season 5. I love those seasons, so I can't wait to talk about them. I'll see you next month when we talk about season 2, which I cannot wait to unpack. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much talking. I can't wait. See you later. Hope you have a Slayerific day. Hope you slay your day. I was gonna throw Slayer in there, but I don't know how to do that, so bye.